All right, welcome back to Unleashed, the most legit Celtics podcast in the game. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and let me know in the comments down below by video's end if you agree or disagree with this. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure you're subscribing, rating, reviewing, and following. This episode, I feel like I've been pushed to make this episode, all right? We're talking Grant Williams today. Before we do that, I do want to mention how I told you before, I can't promise this is an everyday podcast or a daily podcast, but hey, we're 3 days straight now. Some juicy topics talking about, and we're 3 days in of a daily podcast. So I think the move is to do this as much as possible moving forward. Obviously, you're going to get the one episode a week at bare minimum, but I mean, hey, if we can make this somehow a daily show, then fine with me if I can do it, and then I'm sure you guys would love that too. But we're talking Grant Williams today, like I said. I laugh because I think my take on Grant Williams is confusing to people. I've been called the Grant Williams hater out there, and I can see why people think that, but I have to dispel some of the ideas and notions about my take on Grant Williams. So I'm going to go all the way back to when he was drafted. When Grant Williams got drafted, from day one, he was saying all of the right things, making all of the right claims, pretty much pumping air in his own tires for Boston fans to be like, oh my God, like this guy's the real deal. From day one, people wanted Grant Williams to be a Celtic, right? To be that true Celtic, a guy that embodied the city and was tough and strong and gritty. And he made people think that from day one, which is fine. I'm not going to knock him for that. I think that's what rookies should do, probably really just sink their teeth into the city and the team and organization that you're playing for. So that's fine. Where my issue rises, and this is going to be a theme in the podcast, is that Celtics fans, when they saw that, kind of, and I think things have switched and sort of shifted a little bit heading into this year, so that's fine. And we'll talk about that like individually this year in a little bit. But, when he got drafted and was saying all the right things about the city, and then, he made the remark that I feel like put people over the top of, well, his mom works at NASA, so he knows Kyrie's wrong about the flat earth deal. That was right after Kyrie pretty much just bent everyone in Boston over and everyone hated him, yada, yada, yada. So I think people started to develop these preconceived notions about Grant Williams that he was going to work here and that he does work here already, even before any training camp, summer league, any games, anything like that. And I didn't really have this take then. I was like, okay, whatever. People like him. Let's see what he's got. Like, I'm sure there's tweets of me liking Grant Williams prior to, because he was, like I said, saying all of the right things, and I think rookies should do that. But then come the season last year, and even this year, I'm watching a guy that people want to put up on this pedestal and say, hey, he's doing really good, this is what he needs, he should start for this team, so on and so forth. But I'm not seeing that guy. I'm seeing a guy out there that just isn't officially there yet. He's, slow on defense, committing a lot of fouls, sucks on offense, can't rebound like he's supposed to rebound like people think. People want this guy to be the Draymond Green in that championship run for the Warriors. They want him to be a bigger Marcus Smart or a small ball center. Whatever it is, whatever people believe Grant Williams is, he isn't there yet. And that's the problem, and that's where my issue arises. So I don't like the term Grant Williams hater by any means. Like, I'm not a Grant Williams hater. Am I a Grant Williams doubter? I feel like I can't deny that. I do doubt his abilities in this league. He's proven me wrong in some cases before. Like if you're one of the people that tune into the post game stream that I do after every single Celtics game on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Periscope, when Grant Williams plays well, I'm the first one in there. I mean, it's my stream, so technically I am the first one in there, obviously. But I'm the first one in there saying Grant Williams had a good game. My overall, and just to drop back to the overall take, my overall take on Grant Williams is not that I hate him. It's not even so much that I doubt him. It's that I need him to prove it to me before I give him any sort of accolade or any sort of, pedestal to stand on or any sort of gold star. Because I think so far in Grant Williams' career, Celtics fans have been like, oh, this guy has what it is. He has the it factor. He's going to be good. But I think it's all based on what they really want Grant Williams to be, not what you've seen Grant Williams be. Because for me, Grant Williams has contributed little to nothing for the Celtics team since he's been here. Now he's only, a year and change into the league. So that's where I say, if Grant Williams is going to be good, I'm going to call it like it is. If he does, like he does, things I'll give him credit for. He has the sort of, I guess, attitude and mental toughness that it seems an NBA player needs. Like he's not a basket case as a rookie. But in terms of everything on the court, and that's how I like it. I like the progression to go, let me see what you got on the court, and then let me see the personality. I don't give a crap if you're the best teammate in the world if you stink at basketball. And Grant Williams is closer to that side of the scale than he is the other, which is a really good basketball player and, a bad attitude or whatever. So again, Grant Williams, my overall take on him is that he just needs to prove it. And until he proves it, I can't knock the Grant Williams doubter line, I guess. I am going to doubt it, and the only reason I'm doubting him is because the fans that have gassed him up for a year and change so far. You know what I mean? Like, if no one cared about Grant Williams, I wouldn't be on here talking and defending my stance on, I need Grant Williams to prove it, or maybe I doubt some parts of his game. I wouldn't be doing that. It all has to do with, less of the player itself. Obviously, it all ties back into the player, Grant Williams, but it all has to do with the fact that fans think he's better than he is, and not only think he's better than he is, they literally will tell you he's better than he is and act like they're watching a different game. And that's what, not to say bothers me, it doesn't bother me because the product speaks for itself. Grant Williams has, in I would say more often than not this year, if we want to start talking this year specifically. Before we get into this year, I want to give him credit because I don't want this to be overly negative. I had these ideas of him heading into last year, right? The beginning of the year, all throughout the season. Come towards the end of the season, I think he showed what he can be. I think he had more good games than bad. So I think, I would say that that's a feather in his cap. But to start this year, I haven't seen any sort of progression or any sort of step up. So keep that in mind. But let's focus on this year for a second. I think people are starting to see what Grant Williams is because I know he's had more bad games than good games. And even if he's not having a bad game, odds are he's just contributing nothing out there. He's just a body. He's a mass of cells out there running around on the court and contributing absolutely squat. And I think that's the issue, too. It's not just that he's going to go out there and hurt them. Grant Williams has a strong possibility every night of going out there and just taking up space and, not having that ceiling of, maybe he's going to have a good game. Like, if you want to talk about guys with low ceilings right now, Grant Williams. You're not going to see him go off for 20-plus points. So if the probability of his game is going to possibly be to hurt you or at the very best, like, take up space on the court and just take up minutes from anyone else, that's not the best look. I'm not saying he is a definite hurt you out there because he definitely does some things that don't show up on the box score. He's had a few really, really good plus-minus nights, but overall he's had, net plus-minus throughout this year. He's minus. He's having a season in which, if you take all of his minutes played together and games played, the opponents are scoring more points while he's on the floor than the Celtics are scoring. Not by much, but it's there. But again, this season, I think people are starting to sniff that out and starting to get more or less on my side of, I like the attitude. I'm glad that he's, outspoken. I'm glad that he looks like he wants to be there and stay there. But let me see some basketball, pal. It all comes down to that orange thing. And if you're not doing anything to do with that, go be a good attitude in some other industry. You know what I mean? Go be a car salesman if you're going to try and win people with your smile and your catchphrases. And again, I hope Grant Williams gets to the point where he is that smiley chemistry guy that also contributes on the floor. But from what I've seen, and I'm glad most people are starting to see this too. Like, I would say I was in the vast minority last season. Now I think I'm almost in the majority. Like, I see more Grant Williams doubters out there than fanboys. So that's worth noting. But, what I see from Grant Williams also, and this is also a personal thing, like I just said also so many times, but I can admit when I am being sort of biased towards Grant Williams because the doubt starts to creep into my mind, and this is one of those, but let me know if you guys think this too. I see Grant Williams jog around, puff his chest out, walk around with this weird little bounce walk, whatever the hell it is, and I see him complain to refs, and I see him talk to teammates. Like, I think he thinks he's better than he is. I think he thinks he's earned a spot more than and bigger than he's earned, which that just puts a bad taste in my mouth. That can obviously go away. Like, if he's going to talk to refs, he just stops talking to refs, then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, well, I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? So it's not really like a true hate thing, but I'm curious if other people get that vibe of he walks around, smiles, smirks, yells at refs, jogs around, kind of like he's better than he is. But again, that could just be the doubt trying to take over my mind. Little devil on my shoulder here where the angel's just hanging on for dear life. Because I do have both those present. I want Grant Williams to be good. But this guy over here is like, dude, look at what he does. He stinks. So yeah, I don't know. I felt like I had to make the episode that just kind of throws it all out there and says, this is my Grant Williams take. But knowing my babbling ability and my rambling ability, I very much could have even more muddied up the waters. So if I have to make it clear and concise in, a couple sentences, is that I don't hate Grant Williams one bit, but I'm constantly looking for him to prove to me that he is the basketball player that people wanted to crown him as before he even stepped foot on the court. Okay? That's what it is. I don't care about the SE, multiple SE player of the year, anything like that. I want to see what you do in the Celtics uniform. And so far, Grant Williams has done little to nothing for me in a Celtics uniform. And I just want to see that through. So if he goes and does well, I think that's great. It's going to make Danny Ainge look like he got a good pick. I'm not rooting against the kid. It's not like the RJ Hunter situation. If you have been following me and listening to my stuff for a while or reading my blogs, you know that when RJ Hunter was a rookie, I wrote a blog about him. I called him hot garbage or something like that. He DM'd me and said, this is a terrible blog. You're a C word. I'm not going to say the C word, but, if this continues to be a daily podcast, I will see you next Tuesday on this show. Hint, hint. But, no, that's the type of guy that even if he was starting to be good, I would always hate him. I'm glad it seems like he just fell off the map so good. I would always hate him for what he did to me, which I think is pretty valid. But Grant Williams, he hasn't done anything that would make me say, I hate this kid. I don't want him to be good. I want Grant Williams to be good. If his basketball play, if he can walk the talk the walk, talk the talk, whatever the saying is. If he can walk the walk now that he's talked the talk and smiled the smile, I'm all aboard the Grant Williams wagon. Until then, I might be off of it because I am still waiting for this kid to prove something to me. But anyways, that is the episode, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy these shorter episodes, and this becoming sort of a daily, quick hitter podcast. I love doing it, and, I appreciate everyone that's tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, do hit that subscribe button, like the video. If you're listening on Apple, subscribe to the channel. And if you are following on Spotify, then great. Let's do all those things, and I'll catch you. I don't know if we'll catch you tomorrow. Like I said, so far this has been a daily show this week, but we will see. If a thought pops into my head, then we'll run with it. But until then, guys, I will catch you in the next episode.